Hi everyone, welcome back to part 9 of the Trumpeter German Panzer IV tank build. It's Ted here from eModels. Normally I would go on and say what we're going to look forward to in this video, but it seems that we've got to the stage now where things are progressing so fast that I don't really know where we'll be at the end of this video, so we'll go on a bit of an adventure and see where we get to. But however, one of the first things that we're going to do, we're going to look at putting this turret floor into the turret itself. But before we do that, we've got it all built, and I thought I would recap a little bit just to show you how we went about weathering. If you didn't follow it right through from the start, it's just a matter of doing the same weathering techniques as we've done on the rest of the interior, which is really quite a simple process. If you come in and have a look at the turret floor, let's get it back into focus, there we go. You can see what we've done here. I've gone ahead and covered the top of it in a bit of weathering and some of the supports, and you can probably see in the colour difference between the floor itself and the base of the turret. It's just really a really simple technique to do. There's a number of ways that you can do it, and we'll have a look at those now. So let me go and get some of the stuff together. So what do we need to do this? Right, well, we need a paintbrush. Let's find a nice detail brush. I use the Citadel, the sort of fantasy wargaming type brushes. I find them really good, really. There's a detail brush. That's the for those of you that use them, it's the yellow end. What else do we need? We need some black paint. The Vallejo black paint. Any acrylic paints will do. That's for stage 1. Let's have a look in my drawer of weathering products. We can use the UMP dark dirt. We can also use some Abteilung 502 engine grease, and a little bit, if you wanted, some of the fantasy Starship filth, the Abteilung 502. That now, this stuff is getting pretty rare. I think my friend Fox Wolf has gone and bought it all, but if you can find any of this online or anywhere else, go and grab a tube. It'll last you forever, unless you're like Fox and you weren't using it all the time, but it'll last ages, and it's a really good, useful colour. And also we could use some weathering powders. Let's get it in there, the Humbrol weathering powders in black, or you could use some washes as an alternate to the UMP stuff. You can use the Humbrol or the MiG, or anything really, the AK Interactive stuff, but I think I'll put that one back and we'll stick with these for now. Right, the chipping. You can see on here what we've done is used some find a pointy stick, is use some black paint just for chipping around all the high traffic areas. The turret floor itself is going to be quite a busy area, with lots of things and heavy equipment moving around. The shells, the rounds will be moved around, they'll be loaded in and out of the tank, loaded into the breech, fired off, which is going to create quite a harsh working environment. So the chipping and the usage is going to be, well, not substantial, but it's going to be there. Also darken it down, because when these shells are getting fired off, it's going to create quite a bit of cordite, which is a black oil, which leaves a black oily type residue. over everything, and you can never get rid of it. You've probably seen these pictures of tankers after they've been in action, sitting having a drink, just relaxing or chilling by the tank. How filthy they looked, and if they're getting that filthy, the rest of your tank is going to as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some of this chipping. Now if I can find my palette, as you know, I use my little tea tray, and into that I use a little bit of plastic just to put the paint onto. Some of you might use these little colour cups, if it'll find any. Some of the little colour cups, you could use them. Bottle tops, I haven't got any to hand at the moment, but bottle tops, milk bottle tops, anything just to drop your paint into. Right, so give our paint a bit of a shake. Sorry, I'm just shaking paint off camera at the moment, I'm not doing anything else. Here we go. All we need, just a touch in there, and using our fine tipped brush is just take a bit of, doesn't need to be diluted or anything, just neat paint, and just have a look and give everything some chips. Now what we're going to do is look at the areas where there's going to be most likely to be chips, which is corners, edges, places that would receive some normal wear and tear. We've still got this magazine to fit in here. Oops, knocked it. Let's move this stuff out of the way. Still got this magazine to fit in there, so obviously parts around that we can leave clear just to let us glue it in. So that will go in there, but we'll move that out of the way for now. So just take some light, just to take a coat of paint on your brush and just touch. It really just where it takes your fancy. Just begin with small chips, just dots. Don't paint the big ones, because what you'll do, as you find, is as you put more dots in, the scratch, the tear, or the abrasion becomes more. Don't try and do a big chip, do a series of small ones and join them all together. And it's really just a matter of taking your time. Now you're going to look at where people will rub the boots, ammunition will get knocked around. And here is the it'll be the gunner's seat. We can begin by thinking where his arms are going to rest, where the paint's going to rub and chip. Usually in corners, because you'll find that if in real life you're spraying something, the paint is going to wear off in the corners and on the edges, because it'll chip. If once it starts to chip, it'll continue chipping. Now it may not look much, we're just using what we're using, the matte black. This is 7950, which is the matte black. It's not gloss. It doesn't look much when you're painting and you're applying it. Once it dries, it does become a chip. Now a lot of people will think of doing chipping with some old sponges or anything like that, but I think that for the inside of a tank, or for the inside of this model anyway, could be a little bit too much. because we can apply, leave it, let it dry, and then come back to it and do some more. Now this junction box down here, we can just apply to some edges. There's a sign on the front. Can you quite see it? There's a little of, it looks like a notice on the front of this junction box. I'm not sure what colour that would be, but I think I'm going to just find later on. It's just a touch of red paint just to bring it out, and puts a little bit of colour just to give a break up the monotony of the black and the white inside here. Now then, this junction box, it just shows the cables all cut off, but if you were wanting to go that extra mile, I'm sure that some copper cable, you could add add detail, extra detail to this tank. Can you see how we're just going around the edges, just dragging your brush just across them. And we can continue building that until you're really happy with it. And then these seats here on these posts, they are adjustable. They're adjustable for height, so I would think that with the going up and uppy and downy, they're going to create some scratches on the supports. And scratch the paint off, so we can apply some chips, scratches, just to continue. If you're doing scratches, just tip of your brush and just drag it down, just be random with it, and it will look a lot more natural. Don't try, I'm not really trying to recreate anything, I'm just sort of letting the natural shake of my hand and the brush do the work. Now, as you know from watching my videos, I always say less is more. Now you see, I'm not particularly doing the turret floor itself, this bit here. I'm not doing that with any chips, because that will receive a different wear pattern. It's going to be more of a ground in dirt. Yeah, the paint's going to rub off, but we can recreate that by adding some dirt and toning the whole paint scheme right down. Now, I have seen in some of these pictures online and on the web that some of the tanks are painted different inside, whereas the commander's seat here at the back, I've seen that painted black. I've seen these floor supports painted black as well, but this is in keeping with what we've done throughout the rest of the build and the rest of the interior of this tank. Anyway, I'll go and finish this chipping, and then we'll come back in a moment and we'll do the next stage of the weathering when these chips have dried. Okay, see you in a moment. Okay then, well, I've let the chips dry and moved on a little bit so we can start and tie it all together now in the next phase. I've started on the turret deck itself, and I've gone over that with a wash of UMP dark dirt. It's simple enough. Just decant it into a container, then using a wash brush just give it a whole wash all over, and then let it dry. I've done that, so rather than giving it a wash, going away again and coming back, I've done the first part, and now for the next bit you're going to need a lot of cotton buds, Q-tips, wherever you be in the world, whatever you want to call them, and just a drop of water. If we put this back on here, you can maybe see it a little better. You can see the contrast in the white background, and it keeps my work mat a little bit cleaner. This stuff will rub off on its own. See how the cotton buds picking it up, but just to dampen that cotton bud just a little bit, and then you can start and work the cleaner and take off all the excess. Can you see this happening? What you'll find, normally you would do this on a gloss surface. You would give it a coat of clear gloss varnish first and then work it all off, but the paint that we use, the Mr. Hobby Off-White, is actually a gloss paint, so it's giving it a little bit of an area, an extra. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say then. Anyway, what you'll find is that as you're rubbing it off, it will leave the paint sort of ingrained with the dirt, and you can brush it as you want. You can take it all off. You can leave streaks on. Think about the areas as well where the floor would get dirty and probably stay dirty, where the dirt would get ingrained in the corners. You're going to need a lot of cotton buds. When it really gets choked up, just get another one and give it a go again. Yeah, so where you think the dirt would get ingrained and build up along the edges. See if I find my little pointy stick. Come in a little bit more, we'll see if I can show you. Is it going to stay in focus for us? See in here how we'll leave a build-up of muck along there. These guys I don't think will have been house proud, but I don't think they'll be house proud enough to go around with the polishing cloth just to clean everything out. So the muck will be ingrained, it'll be hidden in the corners, and as you can see, as we take it off, it cleans it all up, but it still leaves that lifting look. Another Q-tip, cotton bud. And as well, the foot traffic will grind in the dirt, but also there wouldn't be, I wouldn't think there'd be clumps of mud lying around like the outside of the tank, unless you had a particularly fussy commander who enforced everybody take the boots off on entering the vehicle, please. OCD tank commander, and we could leave this in a pristine condition as it left the factory, as he made all of his team wear slippers. There, you can see that. See how it's all tying all the chips together and giving it a sort of, is the right word, patina, as it colours it down. It doesn't take all the dirt off as we're rubbing it. It just, and I've knocked my weathering mixture over. There. So that's the tank floor done. Once it dries off again, I'll see if it needs any more removing. I think that's pretty good. We'll just do the rest of it. If I find my wash brush, put that in there. Find my wash brush. Take some of this UMP weathering wash that I've just spilt over a bench. Waste not, want not. And it's just a matter of applying that coat. That's all there is to it. Simple. No effort. It's pretty good stuff, this UMP. It does do as it says on the tin. There's varying shades of it, as you don't already know, I've mentioned before. Available from E-Models. And don't forget as well, if you are following this build on YouTube, I always like to mention, if you want to see sort of the behind the scenes build as it goes on, this and all my other builds, just follow Skipper Scale Models on Facebook if you've got Facebook, or have a look at Friends if you haven't. And I post on there some general day-to-day rubbish and how the build is coming along, and it gives you a chance, if you don't comment on the video itself on YouTube, it gives you the chance, if you want, you can send me a line on there, send me some feedback, what you think, what you'd like to see, how you'd like to see things done. Always open to suggestions. And at the moment I'm already thinking of what to build next. What would you like to see built next? One or two things in mind. If there's something particular that you want and it takes my interest as well, we could certainly consider it. Right, I'm just building up all the weathering on the bits that I haven't done. I've worked on the tank, on the turret floor, just doing exactly the same on all the other bits and dulling them down, grubbying them up and tying it all together. And then once I've cleaned them up, I think I might do a little bit more work just on that seat, the gunner's seat there. This bit of machinery here is all his turret controls. There's the switch on the top for making his turret transverse, and also here, should this lot break down or the electrics go, there'll be the hand crank as well to make the turret go around. In the turret ring itself, can we come a bit closer without it going out of focus? In the turret ring itself, you probably see in there, pointy stick time, probably see in there that what we've done, the turret teeth, the teeth in the gears, now that's where we've gone along with our Abteilung engine grease that I showed you before. This stuff, yeah, come back into focus. It's try to focus on two different things. We've put a layer of that in and rubbed it all in using once again some cotton buds, rubbed it all in and then just dry brushed dry brushed along the teeth itself with some metallic, if it stays in focus and doesn't try to focus on those bits. There we go again. Oh, it's not. We've zoomed in too much. There we are. You can see that, and it gives it that effect of the sort of oily sort of lubrication for the turret teeth, trying to give it a smooth run around on the transverse. Anyway, right, that's just about all that done for the interior. And now if we zoom out, you can see it's not your eyes, honestly, it's me. There we go. So we'll let that all go off. I think we've tied that all together, just really as simple as that. And then we'll look at getting this into that over there, which is the turret. So take another break and see you in a moment. Okay then, that's everything done now. The turret floor's finished and weathered, as much as I'm happy with. You could carry on, do lots more to it if you wanted to. And now's the time to fit this turret floor into the turret itself. I think this part is really sort of the last stage of the inside parts to build on the tank. It's just a few points to point out to you when I've tried it before and done a pre-fit, is that because of as we found in the rest of the build, the tolerances are quite tight in getting some of the parts together, and you really need to clean across the front of the turret ring, cleaning the paint off in there, top and bottom on the underside. On the underside you'll find there's a little locating ridge along there. You can clean the paint off back to the bare plastic under there, and also in the turret itself, if we can fetch the turret in, just in here, just along the front of the turret mantle, there's a slot where the turret floor fits. Clean the paint off in there as well. That way it'll slot together a lot easier. As we've found, as I say, we've found right through this tank that some of the tolerances for fitting parts are quite tight. Anyway, there's the turret done. I've done one or two little things whilst I've been waiting for the turret floor to dry, and we'll just discuss them briefly in a moment. But we really want to get this floor into this turret now. So it's just a matter of getting it nice and secured in there. Now it fits in one way. Hopefully you can see this going in. And you just really got to be careful that you're not pressing on anything, on any of the parts that you're going to snap off and have them all done. Now that sits in there, and then it fits back. If we can take that out again, I forgot to show you. It fits back onto two locating lugs just here in the back of the turret, one there and one on the other side just in there. So what we need to do is put the front in first. Just trying to keep it in shot so you can see. As I say, if you clean the paint off, it will go in. It's just a matter of finding the right way in. And then you want to make sure that these gaps are as tight as you can get them. These gaps around here are as tight as you can get, and it should sit in there, pushing it forward and pulling it in. I think a little clamp might come in handy. We'll just try it. If we get a little clamp just to hold the front in. Because then when we press down on the back here to fit it onto those lugs, the gaps at the front here are going to close up. So we can get some glue in the front first. I think what we'll do, we'll glue the front we'll glue the front in, and then we'll concentrate when this glue's gone off. We can concentrate along the back end and pulling it all down. Just a couple of little clamps just to hold the back end in. I'll see if it works that way. Touch of Tamiya extra thin just to run into the gap. And just holding that in there. I think if we take some of the bigger clamps we may, because we don't want to really be trying and filling gaps around these areas with filler. Oh, I think there's a round fell out of the magazine. Try one of the bigger clamps. We're just really trying to close up the gaps to save ourselves some work. In filling them. There's not enough tension on that one. The tension on these clamps can be altered, as you can see, by elastic bands. If you get hold of them, they're ideal pieces of kit. Oh. Let's knock that one off the other side. You really try to be very gentle with it because there's lots of parts on here, and excuse me if you can't see everything just because my hands are getting in the way, but I'm trying to get this all done so you can see it properly. There's lots of small parts that we don't want to be knocking off with our hands at this stage. Okay, so this is quite a quick scene. So what we'll do now, I'm just going to go off and let this glue dry. We'll come back, we'll take all the clamps off, and we'll have a look at putting it in the tank and making it look like a tank. So just be a few moments while the glue sets and everything dries up. I'll glue along this back end as well, get it all settled down, and then we'll put it in the tank. See you in a minute. Okay then, welcome back. That's the glue all set on the turret bottom now. We can take these clamps off. Since I glued the front part in, I had gone ahead and glued the rear of the turret in as well. Put some clamps just to hold it all in place. And now we can look at putting it into the tank for the first time. Just before we do that, just worth pointing out that should you want to play with your tank or whatever, the turret base is a little bit fragile and it will slightly move on its base. I don't know if you can work out. It's secure, but there is just a touch of movement in there. Now that means that if we could just put that to one side, we'll bring the tank in. That means that if you have any friction or anything just inside the turret on that bobbin there, or any catching around the edges of the turret floor. Let's move this around so we can see inside here. If you have any movement catching around the turret floor here, it's just going to put a little bit of extra strain just on that turret floor, which may cause it to break or whatever. What I've done as well, I've just made sure everything was all clean and inside and everything was smooth and it was free play. Then I just put a touch of silicone grease or Vaseline just inside where it contacts with the bobbing in here. Now everything here should just, finding the right place, locate in and just drop in. There we go. Let's have a zoom out so you can see it. You see I've taken the wheels off now just because we're moving things around a little bit and rather than stop them all falling off. So that there is the turret. And just for the more perceptive among you, we'll notice that the turret is actually offset. It's not symmetrical to the hull, it's actually moved across to the, looking at it from this way, it's moved across to the left hand side. I don't know why that is, but I understand it does give the loader a little bit more room inside. So you'll see here the beading that goes around the front of the turret is on the hull there, but it's missing there. So the hull, the turret is actually offset on the hull. Just a bit of useless information. So that's that bit done. Now then, what I've gone and done is gone ahead and simply built the turret bin. And I won't be gluing that on just yet, but we can put it in position. There, like that. I've also put on some of the armour plates, sort of supporting brackets. Now remember, before you put the turret ring on, there's a ring that goes around the cupola, the commander's cupola. Before you put that on, these support brackets need to go on first, otherwise they won't go through the little gap just underneath. That goes on there, and there's the bits for the commander's cupola to go into there. And we'll go on ahead now and look at building these parts up. So that's that bit done. That's the turret on the tank. Way, fantastic. It's looking the bit. We can start and work along the outside now, and we're just about done. Anyway, let's go and have a look at these bits and we'll see you in a minute. Okay, bye now. Okay then, here we are. Here we're going to look at excuse me, building the commander's cupola, the commander's hatch. It begins with my two pieces from the same sprue, part 6. Just checking them in the diagram. There's certainly a part 6 and a part 9. Part 6, these are off the sprue Y. Part 6 has these little attachment tabs at the bottom, and part 9 doesn't. When you take them off the sprue, because they're part 6 and they're a part 9, the numbers are actually turned around, so you can't actually work them out which is which. So just check on the instructions that you've got the right part, because these vision blocks, the outside of the vision blocks, slide in to the lower section, which is this one, and don't put them in the wrong one like I did, which is this one. Now then, the vision blocks go in there, they glue in, and then I've decided to spray everything up before it all finally goes together. Now the vision blocks on the inside, they're just a couple of parts to go together quite easily. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6, half a dozen parts plus a clear vision block. Come in a bit closer and have a look. If we keep it in focus, there we go. They go in there. I've painted them all up, I've sprayed them all, and I've done some weathering on them, and these fit in here. Now the handles which I would take would stay focus. The handles which I would assume would open and close the exterior of the vision blocks go in the bottom, and to find the right position of them is to put the vision block in, and the handle sits in between the two lugs that we looked at earlier. They go in there. So it's just a simple matter of building them all up, painting them, and then putting them together. They don't need much glue. In fact, I wouldn't have thought these parts would need any glue at all, because they're all held in once the whole thing goes together. So we can get them in there. Once again, as right the way through the kit, the tolerance is of the fit are quite tight, so just be careful about getting layers of paint on the mating surfaces. There we go, and using our tweezers we can just adjust the handle to go in there like that. Right, the next part is to put the top on. There's a little locating lug just in here, just so that it goes the right way around on the base of the cupola, or the commander's hatch, and it clips together easily like that. Let's keep it in shot which way we go. Right, the next parts are these. These are little what I believe to be cushions, just to protect the commander when he's sort of in his hatch and the vehicle is moving along, and they remind me a little bit of something out of a video game. They look like little nanos or whatever they're called. Anyway, never mind. Now then, there's two ways for these. There's a top and a bottom. The top is if you look at them when you take them off the sprue, there's an up and a down. The up part is the shorter of the set of locating lugs, so they go in that way. Okay, right, now then, the only thing that I find when I've been trying to dry fit these is that they don't fit. I've tried them all sorts of ways around and different ways of getting them in and out, but the only way I can find to really make them fit, because they fit in between the vision blocks just in here, and there is some locating holes just in each side of the vision block for them to fit, but they don't. Must be about the only part of this kit that doesn't fit. Now the only way I can make them find to make them fit is the shorter of the two straps is to just gently bend them in. Just gently bend them to almost at a right angle to the cushion. Now you need to do it slowly, otherwise you'll probably break them off, which hopefully I won't do whilst we're on camera, because it could be quite embarrassing. Now then, they are a fiddle to get them in and sit properly in here. I'm trying to keep it so you can see what we're doing, but it's almost impossible to do. You just need to keep adjusting them until you find that it will sit in there, and maybe just using a couple of using the tweezers. Just it's gone in, right, okay. It will. It does go. I've had them in. Patience is a virtue. There, they will fit in there like that. Then just a drop of glue and to hold them all together, and we'll do that right the way around. There's 5 of them to go in. Now that some of you may have seen that I've painted them, well, you will have seen that I've painted them white, but some of you may think that they should be black. I've seen lots of different videos. A few tanks I've seen them black, a few tanks I've seen them white. At the moment I'm going to leave them in this white colour, and maybe just weather them up a little bit more. These haven't been weathered the same as the chips for the rest of it. Although when I get it all together I might decide and paint them black just to give that little bit of difference in colour to the inside, and then edge them up as though they've been covered in a plastic leathery type material. So that will go there. The ring on the top with the hinges will go on next. It will only go one way around because the locating logs are positioned so it will only fit one way. That's that way. Just move these out of the way so I can see them. Once again we have the problem of getting the hinges a hinge to work, so I think I'll be leaving this door open, and then it all fits together. Let's slide the tank back in, and let's zoom out so you can see what's happening. Slide the tank back in. You can see that while I've been waiting for these other bits to dry, I've gone and put the armour brackets on the side of the turret. But then this once again has a locating lug to keep it at the back, so you're getting everything the right way around. And the turret, the commander's hatch will go in like that. There's a machine gun option to go on there, so I'll build that up and put that on. That's just a few pieces just to glue together. There's 1 or 2 photo etch parts which will just glue in there, and that really is going to be all about the outside of the tank done, which is all we can do really for this video, I think, because next time we're probably going to be in the situation where after I've put a few more pieces on the tank, some of the armour brackets and things like that. Oh, you can't see what's happening. Once I've done some of the brackets on the armour, for the rest of it we'll be looking at painting. So I think for the next video we will start and get some paint on this beast and start really bringing it all together. But anyway, I think I've taken up enough of your time for this video. So it's Ted here at eModels, and don't forget as well, just go and have a look at my page on Facebook if you're on Facebook, at Ted's at Skipper's Scale Models, and also eModels are there as well, or at emodels.co.uk, and we'll sort everything out. Anyway, thanks for watching for this video, and she's looking great. I can't wait to get some paint on it. I've got to the stage now where every time I walk past it I need to glue something on now. But thanks for your time, thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the next video, and we'll do lots more to it. But thanks for watching, and bye now.